Hey y'all, so today we are taking a rest from doing some quilting videos, and we're actually going to be doing, I know you can't tell from this, but some potting videos. So I'm out here on my sun porch and I've got some new lithops to plant up. So I know that some of you guys were wondering what happened to the baby lithops that I had planted, and unfortunately they were eaten actually. So they were out here and it was summertime about, I'd say, a year ago, and I thought they just weren't getting as much light as I wanted them to out here, and so I actually put them on this little plant caddy behind me and moved them outside, and they were out there for a couple of weeks before I saw that they had just been destroyed. So I don't know if a bird got them, I don't know if a squirrel or what exactly got them, but something ate them. And so unfortunately, I don't have any updates on how big they are now, several years out, because they were eaten. So I did not get any lithops for a while after that, and finally decided recently that I was gonna get some more and plant some. So I bought some plants from leafandclay.com, and I'm gonna get those going and we'll do a little video on getting those planted up. All right, let's get to it. All right, so we've got our plants here wrapped up from Leaf and Clay. We're gonna open those. This is the bowl that I got to put them in from Leaf and Clay. I was a little bit sad. I would have assumed that it would have drainage holes, but it did not. So, you know, you don't water lithops that frequently, so that's not that concerning. But let's get to opening these guys up and see what we got here. So, we've got these two little guys, and they don't feel squishy or anything, so that's good. I did get a couple of varieties just to have some difference, and they're different sizes as well. Got these two guys. They're a little bit scrunched. Ooh, this is a big one. All right, let's see. We've got this guy. Ooh, this guy has got a little baby coming up through there. So that's pretty exciting. This one looks like he's recently flowered, so that's pretty cool. We got another baby. It's a pretty big one. Ooh, look at that one. That one has got a flower coming up, so that's pretty darn cool. Sweet. I hope it'll still flower. This one has just branched, or not just branched, but you can see it's budding off a new one. Okay. Ooh, this one's big. There's that guy. Pretty nice healthy roots too. All right, got some big ones here. Those guys, a little shriveled. Oh, those are pretty cool brown ones. Okay, so now that we've got the bowl, we've got the plants, let's talk about the soil. Soil that I'm going to use is a couple of different soils. I do like to kind of mix and match my soil up. A gritty mix is definitely recommended for lithops or any really cactus loving plant. They are fine if you add a little bit of like actual soil to it, but you want to be really careful with that, and depending on that soil content is going to manage your watering. So lithops like to be really dried out. They do like to drink water, but we don't want them just sitting in a bath, right? So they're not going to be aquatic plants laying in a puddle, right? So a couple of different soils that we have today. This is Little Emerald Thumb Mesem substrate. And so it's really good for cactus, and as you can see, really very gritty texture to it. So it's not going to hold a ton of water that they're just going to be sitting in, but it's going to have a lot of porous rocks and everything in there that are going to help to pull in water and provide that to the cactus. But the other thing I like to use, this has a little bit more actual what you might consider soil, right? So you can see this is the type that you're looking at here, and this is an organic succulent soil. So again, it's going to have some components like perlite to it that are going to help to be a fast draining soil. We're going to mix a little bit of this in there because I do feel like, you know, these guys have really long roots. Well, that's not a great one. Here, let's do this one. These guys have really long roots, as you can see, and so they want something to go down in and grab a hold of too. And sometimes rocks are just not as easy for that to do. So I like to give a little bit of consistency to the soil with this, okay? The other one we're gonna use is just to add some, again, making sure that's a good draining quality soil. We're gonna add some perlite to it. And I would suspect that all of these have perlite in them, so we're not going to add a ton, but just enough to make it feel good, like we like it. The last thing, let me grab my handy dandy thing here. So I've got some more pumice stone. Here is some actual bonsai jack gritty mix. So I'll probably add some of this in there to give it that as well. I've planted a lot of cacti and succulents in this, and they do really well with it. And then the last thing, I don't have a ton of them, but there's some little river rocks, which I always find adding a couple river rocks to it, since they are stone rock or rock plants, also known as, that just makes it a little bit fun. So, all right, let's get to doing that. We'll get out the scooper and we'll mix up our soil, okay? All right, so the first thing we're gonna do is take our scooper, and I'm gonna mix in a little bit of this succulent soil. You can see it is a little bit drier there. And actually we're gonna put in a good scoop of perlite right at the bottom of this, just to really mix it in there. Then we will add some of this, a good healthy portion of this. Keep moving out of focus here, guys. There we go. And then we're going to add in some of that gritty mix. Okay, everybody, we're going to do this and then we'll start planting. For planting, I am going to use this to sort of move things around and poke in there, okay? So let's get to doing that. All right. Okay. So we're gonna take these guys, make a little hole. Actually, you know what? Okay, so now we're gonna put some river rock dressing on. Okay, you guys, I'm really excited by my lithops planting. There's a lot of variety to this. I got several different varieties. I could read them off to you, but I won't because I'll just butcher the names. But there's a lot of different varieties. I do like ones that are not necessarily, I mean, I've got these really pretty green ones in the center, but a lot of the other ones have sort of that brown color. And I do think it's good to kind of keep them in sort of that area so that as we water them, I mean, lithops in general are very similar, but obviously, you know, they're different between the different varieties. Some are going to need a little bit of, you know, more water and some may need a little bit less water. The other thing is at the beginning here, I am not going to water these for at least a couple days before we do any watering at all. Most of them really didn't look like they needed any watering. There were only a couple that were a little bit shriveled. And so I'm gonna let them sort of settle into their new home. And then once it's been a couple of days, we'll do a really light watering and a little bit of a selective watering to it as well. So not that we're going to ignore anybody, but any of the ones that looked a little bit more wrinkled, we'll probably get a little bit more focus to them. The ones that are starting to split, you know, like this guy over here, probably not going to water him as much just because he doesn't need it. He needs to not have water to absorb those leaves that are coming out to let the new ones come out. So very happy with this. You know, I've seen so many Pinterest, so many just looking up lithops, you know, basically these just little potted plants or little pots just full of lithops, and I have always wanted that. So I'm hoping that these guys do really good and start budding and we get a really gorgeous sort of just coverage of them. And I did go ahead and do the top dressing. I almost didn't because honestly, the mixture that I did was just so gritty and so gravelly anyways that it almost kind of looked like a top dressing, but I decided to go ahead and go with it. There are a lot of really nice browns which go with a lot of the brown colored lithops that I've got. So I do think it turned out really nice. I like the bowl. So going to find it a little spot out here among the rest of the plants that we've got and see how they do, give them a little bit of time to acclimate, and then we'll do watering and I'll keep you guys updated. And I will not likely be putting these guys out once it hits summertime so that they don't get eaten. So I'll keep you updated on how these do, and happy to be doing another planting video. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. If you have questions for me, let me know down below. I'll link some of the products that I used here in case you're wanting to find any of these soils or make a mixture of your own. I do like to mix potting the soils. I'm not a straight, only this one is the only soil I'm going to use. I like to have a little bit of a mixture, as you saw. So there are several of them here, and I'm sure there's some other great soils out there as well. If you want to see more plant videos, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, like and subscribe down below, and I'll check you out guys next time. Thanks, bye.